Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti. Hare Krishna. Today we are going to be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 2, titled Prescribed Duties for Mankind, and we are going to be reading text 3, 623. Prajanam pitaro yecha staraha sadhava samaha yadi syateshu vaishamyam kamyanti sharanam prajanam pitaro yecha shastaraha sadhava samaha yadi syateshu vaishamyam kamyanti sharanam prajanam pitaro yecha shastaraha sadhava samaha yadi syateshu vaishamyam kamyanti sharanam prajanam pitaro yecha shastara sadhava samaha yadisyateshu vaishamyam kamyati sharanam praja shara sadhava samaha yadisyateshu vaishamyam kamyati sharanam praja prajanam pitaro yecha shastara sadhava prajanam pitaro yecha shastara sadhava yadishyateshu vaishamyam anyadisharam prajanam pitaro yecha shastara sadhava sama yadishyatu desha vaishamyam Prajama Prajanam Pitaro Yecha Shastaram Sadhavasam Yedishyateshu Vaishanyam Kamyanti Sharanam Prajanam prajanam, of the citizens, pitaraha, protectors, guardians, kings or government servants, ye, they who, cha, and shastaraha, give instructions concerning law and order, sadavaha, endowed with all good qualities, samaha, equal to everyone, yadi, if, syat, there is, teshu, among them, vaishamyam, partiality, tam, what, yanti, will go to, sharanam, shelter, praja, the citizens. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. A king or government official should be so well qualified that he acts as a father, maintainer, and protector of the citizens because of affection and love. He should give the citizens good advice and instructions according to the standard scriptures and should be equal to everyone. Yamaraja does this, for he is the supreme master of justice. And so do those who follow in his footsteps. However, if such persons become polluted and exhibit partiality by punishing an innocent, blameless person, where will the citizens go to take shelter for their maintenance and security? The king, or in modern times, the government should act as the them the proper goal of life. The human form of life is especially meant for realization of oneself and one's relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because this cannot be realized in animal life. The duty of the government, therefore, is to take charge of training all the citizens in such a way that by a gradual process, they will be elevated to the spiritual platform, realize the self and his relationship with God. This principle was followed by kings like Maharaja Yudhishthira, Maharaja Parikshit, Lord Ramachandra, Maharaja Ambarisha, and Prahlad Maharaj. The leaders of the government must be very honest, and all the affairs of the state will suffer. Unfortunately, in the name of democracy, rogues and thieves are electing other rogues and thieves to the most important posts in the government. Recently, this has been proven in America, where the president had to be condemned and dragged down from his post by the citizens. This is only one case, but there are many others. Because of the importance of the Krishna consciousness movement, people hate. When a Vaishnava sees mismanagement in the government, he feels great compassion in his heart and tries his best to purify the situation by spreading the Hare Krishna movement. ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमद्भगवत्पादस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्नि गौरत्वश्री नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनांगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिय। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. I'm going to repeat the translation. A king or government official should be so well qualified that he acts as a father, maintainer, and protector of citizens because of affectionate love. He should give be equal to everyone. Yamaraja does this, for he is the supreme master of justice, and so do those who follow in his footsteps. However, if such persons become polluted and exhibit partiality, where will the citizens go to take shelter for their maintenance and security? Mhm. So, this text is being spoken by the Vishnu Dutas um, to the Yamadutas, uh, as when the Yamadutas came to pick up Ajamila. So, they're explaining what a king or a government official or a person who is in a leadership position, how he should act. In the purport, Prabhupada states that um, king should act as a guardian of citizens by teaching them the proper life. That's been given by Lord Krishna is for leadership is a top-down approach. He says, "Yadi acharati shreshta tattadeva tarojana sayat pramanam kurute lokastad anuvartate." Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow. And whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. So, as a leader, we have to exemplify. And in the purport, actually, for that Bhagavad Gita verse, Srila Prabhupada kind of state the similar theme. He says that the king or the executive head of a state, the father, and the school teacher are all considered people in general. All such natural leaders have a great responsibility to their dependents. Therefore, they must be conversant with standard books of moral and spiritual codes. So, being a leader is not only just kind of trying to manage things or put off fires, but it's actually you have a obligation to the people that you're to make sure that they are actually progressing spiritually towards the goal of human form of life. Otherwise, actually, I mean, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, along the same theme, in the fifth canto, it mentions that Guru nanas sasasyad swajano nasasya pita nasasyad janani nasasyad daivam natasyan natpadishashasyan namo chayadya samuveda mrityum. One who cannot deliver his dependents from the path of repeated birth and death should never become a spiritual master, a father, a husband, a mother, or a worshipable demigod. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, the father, spiritual master, or husband must be able to release the repeated birth and death. If he can approachment for his unlawful activities, everyone should be very responsible and take charge of his dependents, just as a spiritual master takes charge of his disciple, or a father takes charge of his son. All these responsibilities cannot be discharged honestly unless one can save the dependent from the repeated birth and death. So, as a leader, I mean, it's a great responsibility not only just kind of take care of things, maintain things, but it's also actually be almost like a fatherly figure for not be a fatherly figure, a motherly figure to the the devotees or the our members, so that they can feel that love and affection, right? Because unless otherwise, we can actually lead them effectively on their spiritual path, perfect their human form of life. We are not doing the justice. Um, Srila Prabhupada, in his uh, letter to Karandara back in 1973, he defines or he states the symptoms or the qualifications for a leader. He says that we have to accept our leader according to the standard symptoms or qualifications. The standard textbook for civilized administration is Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And what are the qualities that Srila Prabhupada mentions that a leader should have? A leader must be peaceful, self controlled, austere, pure, tolerant, honest, wise, learned, and religious. Then he says, not like your President Nixon, a rogue and a thief. Such men cannot do any good to the society. Only those who are trained up in the ultimate goal of human life, they can lead, because human life is meant for going back to Godhead. Therefore, and and he goes on to say, therefore, our society is serving the whole world by supplying the missing part of the perfect advancement of human civilization. We are supplying the head. Although all parts, such as legs, are necessary, the whole thing is useful only when there is a head. So everything is already there, but it is now mixed up. We want to bring the whole world into order by giving the right directions to all classes of men. And then he also clarifies what a right. He says that the right direction means to deliver the instructions of Krishna. And because Krishna is perfect, if you present this knowledge anywhere, it will automatically defeat all the existing concocted hodgepodge ideas, congesting the feeble brains of so called scientists, philosophers, and or anyone. So Srila Prabhupada was very clear in terms of the qualities, as we have been kind of going through over the uh, list in terms of the qualifications or symptoms, ideal symptoms for a leader. I mean, we have to imbibe, we have to um, uh, develop these qualities. Then only we can actually be an effective leader or be able to guide our devotees and them in spiritual progress, as well as our own selves in our service to Srila Prabhupada. In another letter to Jagjivana, Srila Prabhupada says that leader means spiritually, not materially. This you should understand very clearly. If spiritual potency and strength is there, then material intelligence will automatically follow. We must have a following the regulative principles. Then one is fit to lead others. Because often, coming from our material management backgrounds, uh, just from association with the uh, material world, think about, oh, how am I going to maintain this? How am I going to acquire this? Or things like that. How am I going to, from sometimes we get into material modes. But Srila Prabhupada clearly states that our leadership should be focused on spirituality or spiritually. And he says that when we understand it that clearly, when we advance our spiritual potency, then automatically the material intelligence and material things will automatically follow. We don't have to put any extra effort into getting the material aspect of it. And another letter, Srila Prabhupada clearly states that the business of the leader must be and inspire others to be all enthusiastic. That is, then he is a real leader. And another qualification or another quality that Prabhupada mentions is leader means one who has become first class disciple. He is a leader. Evam parampara prapta. Gurumukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriyakya Arana Korehe Mani Asha. Who is the leader? A leader, to become a leader is not very difficult, provided one is prepared to follow the instructions of a bona fide guru. So Srila Prabhupada have given us so many instructions on how we can actually be effective leaders uh, by just following his in his footsteps, by following in his through his instructions. And if we don't need to uh, learn anything apart from what Srila Prabhupada already taught us in his books and in his purports. Um, and again, in this text and the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that to take a leader as a leader, the duty of a leader is to take charge of training the citizens in in the spiritual platform. Then automatically we will be the cooperation and working together. All those things are if we focus on the spiritual aspect of spiritual advancement and spiritual progress of our people that we are working with, or people, the devotees that we are around with, then all the rest of the things, the mood of love and affection and other qualities will automatically manifest, and the cooperation will be much greater. And Srila Prabhupada says that this principle was followed by kings like Maharaja Maharaja Parikshit, Lord Ramachandra, Maharaja Ambarish, and Prahlad Maharaj. Um, and and obviously we can see by these examples of these exalted personalities how they dealt with situations. I mean, probably much worse than any situations that we and day-to-day responsibilities or day-to-day duties. So and by observing or by remembering the actions of such personalities, or the qualities of such personalities, uh, we can also imbibe that mood of service and that those qualities in our own selves, and we can also qualities that we are working with in our service. Um, the Prabhupada says that also that the leaders must of the government must be very honest and religious, because the Priya was mentioning Krishna by himself, by his own example, shown what an effective leader should be, how an effective leader should operate. Even though Krishna is leader, I mean, par excellence. I mean, he was the wisest of the thinkers, and he was probably, I mean, not probably, he was the smartest of all the warriors, and he was the most powerful personality of his time. But he chose to keep his leadership sort of unofficial, right? If you think about it, I mean, who was the king of Madura? Ugrasena. I mean, even though Krishna was the one who actually killed Kamsa's powerful personality and most intelligent personality, but he still chose to respect and ask King Ugrasena to be actually the official leader, and he just chose to be an advisor to the king. And the same thing when he when he had to participate in the war of Kurukshetra. I mean, obviously, he was the supreme Lord. He could have just took his Sudarshan Chakra and just fought. He could have done it by himself. But what is the position that he chose? Chariot driver, right? So oftentimes, um, uh, responsibilities of leadership uh, without its facilities. Leaders want sometimes, especially in the material world, but sometimes it kind of uh, comes into our spiritual societies also. Leaders want to enjoy the privileges of position without discharging its responsibilities. And Krishna actually shows by his own example, of a leader should put his contribution over the position. Then he will be actually much more respected and much more. Uh, 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 then people will actually be able to follow the leader's instructions, or work with the leader in a more more effective manner. And also, just looking at Arjuna also, since we are talking about the war of Kurukshetra, Arjuna also, I mean, he was also the most famous warrior of his time. I mean, he was the most, I mean, supreme warrior. He was also an influential leader by his own ability and his own position. But he actually, what is the position that he took in front of Krishna? He basically said that I'm surrendering to you. I want to become your disciple. I mean, he could have, I can try to kill all these people. I mean, it's not a problem, right? But he didn't. He took an humble position, that he chose the virtuous quality of humility, so that he can actually get the instructions from a bona fide spiritual master, from Lord Krishna. So, and there are so many such instructions in by investing our time in analyzing, or kind of going through the wisdom from these scriptures, actually will protect us, um, by being stuck as managers. Because obviously, what is the differentiation between a manager and a leader? What is a manager? Who is a manager? Manager manages the team. Leader leads the team. Manager manages a team. Leader. Anybody else? Mhm. Leadership is vision. Yeah, manager is execution. Else wants to share? Yes. Manager asks other to do things, but the leader does it by example. And then it's followers. Hmm. Yes. Your people, managers ensure that things are done right, in terms of the execution. And whereas leaders ensure that the right things are done, right? If you take an example, that if we have to climb, suppose we put a ladder here and we have to uh, climb uh, out to climb the ladder. So what does a manager do? A manager basically checks if the team is climbing up the ladder properly, the execution part. Whereas a leader, what does he do? Yeah. He wants to make sure that the ladder is proper. Is it actually on the right wall? All those things, right? So that is, and we want to be leaders, not just being managers. Then we'll be more effective in what we do in our service to Srila Prabhupada. And Bhagavad Gita actually expands the vision of the leaders. Uh, how does it expand the vision of? How does Bhagavad Gita help us as leaders in expanding our vision? It help. Yeah, please. Mm, mm, very nice. Yes, Prabhu. Raghavacharya. Mm, very nice. Ah, excellent. Yes. Mm. Yeah, very good point. Because it actually gives us the big picture, right? It's actually kind of how insignificant we are, and also not only insignificant, but at the same time, it also gives our position as the part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we have so much. Supreme Lord is infinite in his abilities and in his things. So it protects us from the pitfall of getting caught in the immediate things, these things done, because that's what Arjuna was in the dilemma in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, because he was worried about what's going to happen to my relatives, my this, my guru, my uh, grandfather, and so forth. The immediate aspect of it. Whereas the knowledge, the vision that Bhagavad Gita presents is actually we are part. I mean, in the relative of things, we are insignificant, but at the same time, we have being part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. We have so much to offer and so much to, and we should actually look at the long term vision, not the uh, aspects of how to do these things, what's going to happen, what's and those kind of things. And also Bhagavad Gita in another way leader defines uh, the success for leaders. And how does it what is the success that Bhagavad Gita brings up in terms of for leaders? The material results compared to the permanent spiritual benefits, right? I mean, temporarily, I mean, we might lose something, we might gain something, but we have to see the vision in terms of how what is the spiritual benefits that our actions are going to bring, not only for our own selves, but for the for who we are leading, for who that we are direction. And so our decisions and our actions should be focused. For success in our decisions or actions should be measured in terms of that long-term vision, rather than focusing. Obviously, we have to take care of the immediate things, whatever the long-term vision. Then, actually, as we have been learning for the last 9 days, how strategic vision or the long-term vision is going to actually help us in even overcoming whatever the immediate immediate issues and problems that we might encounter, and those things will actually go away. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions these personalities like Maharaj Yudhishthir and uh, Parikshit, Lord Ramachandra and Prahlad Maharaj and King Ambarisha. And we can learn so much from these personalities, how they actually uh, uh, use these principles. I mean, because as is actually being stated by the Vishnu Dutas, and they're actually saying Yamaraj knows all these things because he's the Mahajana. So, in terms of Maharaj Yudhishthira, what is the quality or what are the things that you can think of? Some of the leadership uh, qualities or symptoms that he exhibited. Maharaj Yudhishthira. Yes, bro. Vishnu. Hmm. Yeah, truthfulness. Anybody else? Being account. Mm. Yeah, exactly. He made right thing, right? He wanted to make sure that the right thing is done, right? Yeah. Yes, bro. Exactly. And in fact, I mean, he went to Bhishma Dev, right? And there is a whole set of instructions Bhishma Dev gives him. And before he actually even took over being the emperor, he takes those instructions from Bhishma Dev. And that one should follow the instructions of a bona fide guru or a spiritual master, um, and and the acknowledge, then his misgivings will be all eradicated. Um, and and again, when Maharaj Yudhishthira ruled, he actually ruled as a representative of Lord Krishna. I mean, he was powerful. I mean, he already uh, basically got the whole empire of the whole earth, but he still was taking instructions from Lord Krishna. So, Srila Prabhupada actually in the uh, first canto, in the 10th chapter, where Bhishma Dev is giving instructions, Srila Prabhupada states in the purport that king like Maharaj Yudhishthira had no ideology of his own, but to follow the instructions of the infallible Lord and the Lord's representative and authorized agent Bhishma Dev. It is instructed in the Shastras that one should follow the great authority and the infallible Lord without any personal motive and manufactured ideology. Right? So only the perfect and the infallible can create a program all in the world. And such a program is given by Srila Prabhupada to all of us. We don't have to reinvent any wheel, any new things. If we just follow Srila Prabhupada's instructions and our Acharya's instructions, we should be uh, we should be good to go. We don't have to come up with our own manufactured ideologies or any such thing. And Srila Prabhupada goes on to say, the secret to success is to take refuge under the protection of the Supreme Lord. Without his sanction, nothing can be possible. So that's where our sadhana and how we act as from a spiritual platform matters a lot to the people that are following, or the people that we are trying to lead, or the people that we are providing direction to. Um, and also, it is said that Yudhishthira was famous. What is his another name? Ajata Shatru, right? I mean, even though he was I mean, obviously, we can see in our own yatras or whatever, I mean, we get so much criticism and fault finding and things like that. But I mean, we can learn from Yudhishthira. I mean, he was Ajata Shatru. Why? Because he was always followed the principle of dharma, irrespective of whatever the situation might be. He always did the right thing. What is the right thing to be done? He always followed that, right? Um, because he was a personification of goodness. And why he was a personification of a goodness? How did he develop that quality? By doing continuous service to Lord Krishna. He was freed from all desires for sense gratification and personal wealth, fame, or power. That was his formula. Like performing continuous service to Lord Krishna. He was freed from all this. And then that actually made him personification of goodness. And that's what made him Ajatashatru. That's what Srila Prabhupada said. This complete selflessness made him a worthy emperor of. And also as a leader, Yudhishthira actually exemplified on how he should train his succession and how he should leave his post, right? When he heard that Lord Krishna has departed, he basically by that time he already trained Maharaj Parikshit for as an effective leader, and he basically renounced his position, carried on to his the rest of the responsibilities. Oftentimes, I mean, people get stuck in their positions, or even after giving up their position, they still want to kind of have the control and the mindset. They cannot let that go, right? So, example of from Yudhishthira. Anybody wants to say how King Parikshit, because that's the other example that Srila Prabhupada mentions, how King Parikshit exemplified as a leader. Yes, Madhav Charan.
The pastime of training uh, Shamik Rishi, sorry. Shamik Rishi, when he put the Lord his neck, it was not his intention. He did it because he was religion. But he accepted what was avoiding him as the result of it.
Mm.
So he didn't retaliate, had no identify mistake to me or not. So he didn't defend himself. He accepted because as the mercy.
So accepting responsibility. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
Sorry to my question is different. I think, sorry, please don't mind, but I think uh, Yudhishthir Maharaj being a very good leader, but there are so many examples where he has not played the role of the leader. I don't want to go into that conversation because I think it's supposed to know.
Yeah.
But two examples from Srimad Bhagavatam. One where the king Priyavat, he was self-realized when Anand Muni gave him instruction and he was meditating on the form of Vishnu. Later, the Brahma and Indra came and says, "Oh, we want you to become a leader, we want you to become a king." And and they were not convinced, but because Vishnu says, "Okay, you have to take this role, because there is no one to rule," and says, "Okay, all this to become a king, get married, it's all required of passion. Creation require passion. I'm focusing on you." Ultimately, what happened? He became a king. Then there is another example where Brahma was saying to Krishna, Vishnu, meditating on you and why I want to do this creation because the creation is require passion again. And when this creation will, this my own creation will attract me, and I will fall down. So there is two perspective I want to understand. First thing, as you say, the leader should protect his own citizen.
Mhm.
Uh, that is his first priority. So in the case of Brahma and in case of Deva, why in the first place they were thinking about their own self-realization?
Mhm.
And another perspective is that, as we mentioned in the class, that leaders should be more focused on the spiritual substance rather than on acquiring and maintaining and creating things. Then why they put him in another situation if he's working on the spiritual substance? So, two example, both perspective. How we understand it.
Anybody want? Yes, bro. Huh? Oh, Pariksha. Prabhupada Priya. Yes.
To take responsibility for the spiritual lives of others is a higher spiritual position than to just stay in the forest cultivating one's own spiritual advancement. So Priyabhata on the advice of Narada Muni had gone to the forest, but then when there was a need for a cure that actually just was good for his spiritual advancement. And then he was able to engage in the activities of leadership without becoming contaminated because of his consciousness.
And also, do you want to the Brahma? And he was
Yes,
asked.
not a election mentioned, but why in the first place King Trevor, although he's such a light, he got instruction from Bharat. Why in first place that he renounced his
Because he was guided that way.
Yeah, he's following the.
so he got Bharat was saying and renounced your king duties, and later Bharat is what you just say, so you take his position.
Since it was you have to become qualified. It's really becoming qualified.
Yeah, so it's part of becoming qualified and becoming. Yes, bro. Huh?
That is the main goal of human beings.
Mm-hmm.
Just not like this we consciously and then it takes a message.
Mm.
That is the standard procedure. If you cannot be able to retain that, then you are going to
Mm.
that is actually initially you are going on the right path. But when you are reaching by Manu reached by
Mm.
when you are reaching 10, for the sake of taking care of the situation after Roma being at the body, you don't have enough of this proper will.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Right.
You are going to be one further you
Right. But he
want.
mm,
So
to maintain my back to to execute the instructions of the bona fide good the well-being of the rest of the subjects. Yes.
that's what I understand is a platform of following the Bhakti, but he came follow the Varnashram Dharma, which is not higher. He came down to start in the Varnashram Dharma because you become king, you creation pretender, and then you can come back. So it is saying ultimately what you desire of a senior, right? It's not what the highest.
Externally, it appears that it came down to a lower platform,
But
internally,
highest platform actually. Higher.
Establish what
Right. What is the required for the at the time? But he's still on a higher platform. Anybody else on the Parikshit Maharaj?
Parishit Maharaj, when he got that class, unrelated,
that come on only person lineage
Hmm.
in the and secondly after a program in the it is the message that is given to the Sundays. Even I can go back to Saranga and then because you don't want to encourage him.
Mhm.
If he goes and says, then his son has questioned. So, and he had a different contact with us.
Right.
He
Yeah.
accepted and each uh,
Yeah. The sages and yeah. Right. Very nice. Yeah. Yeah. Very nice.
Maharaj Parikshit, he was so spiritually strong that he even let effect of Kali Yuga.
That's a good point because yeah. So he actually, what did he do when he heard that the sinful form of the Kali Yuga are coming? He actually went around and he traveled around the world to actually meet his subjects and understand what is to hear from them, what is going on. And he took action. And also he consulted when he had to he was going to leave his body within 7 days. He actually consulted his advisors, his brahmanas, and took their advice on what. And so that's another thing I wanted to mention is how do we choose our advisors, and how as a leader how we what kind of people keep around us, so that and what kind of people we should kind of identify. And we have to uh, the few things. One is we have to uh, identify the personalities who are able to discriminate from a spiritual standpoint, viveka buddhi, right? Intelligence. And also as intelligent leaders are those who invest in people, not in land, money, those aspects of it. It's like a cart and horse, like, all right? And so do you invest in cart or horse? Horse. Good. And then and the next thing is also is we have to see the character of the people. What is are they open? Do they accept feedback? Not ends of other leaders speaking the truth. Give up to go up, and so or do they have that kind of mentality? So we have to look. Are they an empowering leader or a choking leader? Right? And the another aspect of it is honesty, whether the person is truthful, transparent, not showing nepotism, and so much. And obediency. We have identify those people that can work in a cooperative mode. Of course, I mean obviously we need have to. Um, and the other quality is dutiful, being dutiful, accountable for their actions. So if we that's how Parikshit Maharaj actually had his advisors, and so they took those things. Uh, I guess we'll stop here. वंदना श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, शील प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदे। Thank you for being.
Jaya Prabhupada Namaste Prabhupada.
Vaitagara Srivasa, Puramandavidaki, Shishira Krishna, Gopa Gopinath, Shamakunda, Radhakund, Girigovardhani, Chindavan Kide, Srimaya Puri Ram Kide, Sri Purushottam Kshetra Jagannath Ram, Srimati Tulsi Maharani, Srimati Bhakti Devi, the Devi Kide, Yamunamai, Gandamai, the most merciful Lord Shri Radha Damodar Shri Radha Damodar Tayo Sundari Gita, all Gita, they Dora Manande, tourist assembled in Paris, all tourist assembled in Paris, all tourist assembled in Paris, all tourists, Shri Guru and Shri Dora.